Hello live wires, Heather Boyd Wire here. Today I had a special request from Tori for some beaded letter pendants. I'm going to link up below my all wire letter pendants. What you're going to need for this project is seed beads. I have 20 gauge wire. You need some round forms, either a pen, a Sharpie, or a ring cone. I have all my tools, some larger round pliers, smaller round pliers, cutters, chain nose pliers, and some tweezer nose pliers. I'm going to take about a 6-inch piece of wire, and to make the A, we're going to do a loop at the top. So we've got our loop going, and then I'm going to get some smaller pliers and just push these down on either side. So from there, we can add some beads. Do as many beads as you want. It depends on how big you want your pendant to be. So here's 8 beads, and then I want to clip the end to about 3/8 of an inch, and then we're just going to roll that around just to make a closed loop. Maybe have a little bit of slack too between the beads, and now we're going to do the other side and then just take the end and loop it in. So now we need to do the crossbar. So I'm just going to put on 3 beads. If your beads are too big, you can always do 2. I'm just going to round that here, stick it in, close that, and then flip it over, count down 4 beads, and bring that one to the back. Clip that one there, and push that in. I only used about 5 inches, so there's the A. For the B, we're just going to bend this over a couple inches from the end, and I'm going to use a round form just to bring this around to the approximate size that you want. Then I'm going to put a bunch of seed beads on there. So once you have enough beads on there, we're going to put some on this vertical line. So now we're going to take this wire and just wind it around a couple times. Now if you want this to be more at the same level as the other one, just bend it up, pinch it, and straight across. So now we'll do a curve again, and we'll fill this up with beads. And then once you have enough beads there, we're going to put the ones on the vertical wire. And then when you're happy with that, we're just going to take the end, bring it around, cut it flush, pinch that down, cut this to 3/8 to 1/2 inch, get your larger round pliers, bring it around, and there you have your B. For the C, we're going to take a ring cone or a larger marker, and we're just going to bend this one around. We'll need a loop so the beads don't come off. And then you can adjust this to look like a C. And then we're going to fill this up with beads. When you get to the top, you can actually do a loop here. So just take your round pliers, bend this one around, and then curve this one down. Put a few more beads, cut it to 1/4 inch, take your pliers, and make a little loop to hold the beads in place. You can adjust it as you need, and there you have your C. For the D, we're just going to bend this at a couple of inches. Use our cone to make our curve. Decide the size you want, and we're going to fill it up with beads. Once you've filled it up with beads, we're just going to take the end, bring it around, clip it, pinch the end so it's flush, cut that to 3/8 to 1/2 inch, take your larger round pliers and bend it around, and there you have your D. For the E, we'll bend it at about 1.5 inches. Bend that straight across, and we're going to put beads on the bottom, bend it to the back, and then we're going to bend this one straight up and bend that out and put some more beads. If the beads go around the curve, you have to really sharpen it up so they won't go around the bend. And then we'll bend this to the back. And I'm going to bend this one straight up behind. So now we're going to bend this one over here. And then we want to bend this one to the front, just like that. And we'll put the same number at the top as we did at the bottom. So here we have 4 beads like we did at the bottom, and we're going to fill up this vertical line. Take this end, bend it around. The end's a little short, you can cut it longer if you want. And then we're going to trim that, pinch it flush, and then bend that one back. Trim it to 3/8 to 1/2 inch. Bring this end in, and there you have your E. So for the F, I'm going to just bend this one to the back. I'm going to put on my vertical beads. I ended up bending it at the halfway point approximately. Put about 8 beads. You can put more or less depending on the size of your beads. So now we're going to bend this one straight out and put the top row of beads. So you can put 4 or 5 beads, and we're going to bend that one back to the back. And then this one, we want to make the other part of the F. We'll take our flat pliers, and then around here we're going to just bend it like out and push it so you have a nice sharp bend there. Hold this in place and actually give it a wind around. Push that out so it'll be a little more secure. Then you can add your beads and bend this to the back. This one straight up. Take this wire, hold it in place, bend that around, trim it, cut that to 3/8 to 1/2 inch, and make your loop. And there's your F. The G is similar to the C, so we're going to just wind it around a cone or a marker. Make the shape that you want, and then to make it look like a G, you just want to put this at a really sharp bend. So just like really push it down so it's a sharp bend, and then we're going to put a few beads on there. You can put 2 or 3 beads. Cut that to 1/4 inch. Curve the end so the beads hold, and now fill up this part with beads. So now, like the C, we're just going to do a little loop at the top. So bring this here, bring it around, push this over, and continue your curve and put a few more beads there. Add 3 or 4 beads, cut this to 1/4 inch. Take the round pliers again and bend it to the side or to the back if you want it more discreet. Push it around a little bit, and there's your G. For the H, I'm going to just bend this one to the back, and then where about the halfway point would be, bend that over. Make sure this bend is super sharp. Put 3 or 4 beads there, and then bend this like straight down. Keep it super sharp. And now we're going to bend this one up. So you see we have the 2 wires going to the front. And now we'll fill these up with beads. Put as many as you want. We're going to trim this side, and we'll make our loop. And we're going to fill up the beads on that side. Now you could make a loop and finish it off there, but it's going to be a little fragile, so I'm actually going to bend this to the back, and then I'm going to bend this behind those beads. Just do it with my nail, but you can do it with your pliers too. And then I'm going to bend it straight up. So we have like what looks like a wire H behind the beads. We're just going to hold it in place and bend it around. So that's going to secure it in place. Some of the letters you can do this way so they're more solid. And there's the H. The I is ridiculously easy. We're just going to loop the bottom and fill it up with beads. So we're just gonna clip that to 3/8 to 1/2 inch. Take the end and do our loop. And there's the eye. The J is also easy. We'll just take the end and do our little loop here. Take a round form, bring this one around, and fill it up with beads. So now you can cut this to 3/8 to 1/2 inch. Get your round pliers and make your loop at the top. And there's your J. So for the K, we'll just make a little loop at the bottom and we'll fill this with beads. Then I'm just going to take my round pliers, bring this around, make a loop, bring it to the back, and bring it around and to the back. And then we're just going to bring this one straight down. We'll bring this one up to form the top of the K. Put as many beads as you want. Bring this to the back. And then we're just going to bend this one straight down and add more beads. So now you could bend the wire to the back, squeeze it in, and so it doesn't come apart, you can actually take this wire, bend it out a bit at an angle, and then just bend it around to catch that wire. You can just bend it underneath here. So bring it around, give it a good little tug, clip that, twist it if the wire is showing, just these as you need, and there's your K. The L is also easy. We're just going to make our little loop to hold the beads, put a few beads on the bottom, probably 5 is good, and then bend this straight up at a sharp angle and put your vertical beads. So now you're going to cut that to 3/8 to 1/2 inch. Take your larger round pliers or looping pliers and then just make a loop, and there's your L. For the M, we'll start again with our loop. Put our beads on the vertical wire. Then we're going to do a loop at the top, so just bend it. Take your round pliers, bring it around, and then bend that out on an angle. Add some more beads. 3 or 4 beads is good. Bend it up and put more beads. And then we're going to bend this over and down. Then you'll cut that to about 1/4 inch. Take your small round pliers and do a loop to hold the beads in. Adjust it as you need, and there's your M. The N is similar to the M. Just make your loop, put your beads, make your loop at the top, bend it to the right, bring the loop around, make sure it's nice and tight. You could pinch it if you need. Bring this one straight down and put more beads. So once you have those beads, you're just going to hold the wire and put it straight up. So now we'll trim this to 1/4 inch. Get your small round pliers and do your loop to hold the beads. And there's your N. The O is also easy. We're just going to get our round form and loop it around. And then you want to make it about the size that you want. So just keep adjusting this until it looks like the shape that you want. And then you're going to bend one of these up at a sharp right angle. So once you're full of beads there, you're just going to take the end, make sure the wire is taut, and we're going to pull it, bring it around, clip it, cut this to 3/8 to 1/2 inch, get your round pliers, bring it around, and then you can still adjust the shape of the O. And there you go. For the P, we'll start and do our little loop at the bottom, and we'll put the vertical beads. I have 9 beads here. We're just going to bend that over, take our round pliers to make the loop at the top, bring it all the way around, And then we're going to get our round form and just form the loop and fill that up with beads. And once you have enough beads, you're just going to loop this to the back, bring it right back there, clip it, and then just pinch that wire end in so there's no sharp edge. And there's your P. Q is a little bit tricky, so we're just going to bend this about halfway. I'm going to put on 3 beads. I'm going to bend this wire one way at the back, and then this one I'm going to actually bring this wire also to the back, take this wire, bend it out. You can go ahead and just like loop it around and bead it up, or if you want it like more solid, you can take this wire and catch it between those 2 beads, bring it around. It catches the other wire and makes it more solid, but like I said, if this is too tricky, just bend them out to either side. Take your round form, bring it up, this one too, bring it up, and then you can adjust it to look like your Q. It's very much like the O, and then from there we can put our beads. When you have enough beads on that side, hold them tightly so the wire is taut and bend it straight up. And now you're going to put the beads on that side. So once you have enough beads, we're going to take this wire and just really tug it, and then we're going to clip it, cut this to 3/8 to 1/2 inch, take our round pliers and do our loop, adjust the shape as you need, and there's your Q. The R is a lot like the P, so we're just going to do a little loop at the bottom and put our vertical beads. And then we're going to hold the beads taut, bend it to the right, and do our loop. Bring it around, make sure it's squeezed in there. Take our round form and bring it around to form our loop, and now we're going to put our beads. So once you have your beads, we're just going to pull this around to the back. It kind of like fits right in between the beads there. We could actually bend it straight down if we want, but if you want it more solid, you can do as we did before, where you take this and then bring it in through here. It catches between those 2 beads, just makes it a lot more solid. Just take your fingernail and just bend this straight down, or you could use pliers. This comes straight out, and now we're going to put beads. Once you have the beads, cut this to about 1/4 inch. Take the small round pliers and just close that loop, and there you have the R. The S is pretty easy. We're just going to take the round pliers, make our loop first, and then with our round form, we're going to bring this one around, make the upper one too. We want to form the S first, and now we're going to add the beads. Once you get to the top, you can form the loop. Get your larger round pliers, make sure the beads are pushed down there. Form your loop to the front, make the loop, push it down so the wire is holding the beads. Take your round form, hold the loop, and continue the round part of the S. You can adjust it with your finger or your pliers. Now add some more beads. Put 3 or 4 beads there depending on the size. Cut that to 1/4 inch and close your loop. And then you can adjust the curve and the shape of the S. And there's your S. For the T, we'll start with the loop and we'll do the vertical beads. So now I'm going to just bend it at a right angle. And then from here, because I want the line to go straight across the top, I'm just going to, at about this position, just bring this one around just across the top, and we're going to put our beads. So once you have your beads across the top, we're going to bend this one to the back, just like that. And then we do need to secure it, so we can just take this wire under here, bend it around to hold that in place, and then bend that straight up. Cut that to 3/8 to 1/2 inch. Get your larger pliers and form your loop. And there's your T. The U is super easy. We're just going to do our little loop to hold the beads. Take our round form, bring it around, decide how big you want it, and fill it up with beads. So once you've filled it up with beads, cut it to 3/8 to 1/2 inch. Get your round pliers, bend it back a bit, around to form your loop. And then you might have to adjust it so the beads end up at the right height. And there's your U. The V is the same as the U. Just do our loop and add our beads. And then after you have your first row of beads, just hold it tightly and put it straight up and bead the other side. Once you've added the beads, trim it to 3/8 to 1/2 inch. Get your larger round pliers, push it back and around. And there you have your V. For the W, I'm going to start in the middle and just do our center loop. Take our small round pliers, bend it down one way and down the other way, and we'll put our beads there. Once we have this one side, we're just going to hold it taut, bend it straight up, and put our beads. So this one's just about 1/4 inch anyways, but I'll just trim off the sharp end and then just bring it in to hold the beads, and we'll do the other side. So we've done that side, bend it up, and then finish the last side. Again, this end's a little short, but there should be just enough to close the loop. Adjust this as you need, and there's your W. For the X, I'm going to start with the large loop. We're just going to form the larger size loop and bead one side. Once you have this many beads, we're just going to bend this to the back to hold the beads in place. And then this one, I'm going to bend straight up like that. And then this one to the front. And we're going to bead this upper wire. So once you've beaded the upper wire, make sure they look about even. Hold this, flip it, bend it to the back, and then you can just wind it around this bead here. Hold this with your thumb and finger, bring this one around, give that a good clip, flip it over, adjust it as you need, and there's your X. For the Y, we're just going to do our little loop again and put a few beads for the stem. You can put about 5 or 6 beads, and then we're going to just bend it over, and then I'm actually going to bend this to the front and put a few of our beads on that side. So I was able to fit 4 beads. You can make the wire a little longer to add 5, and we're just going to hold that in place and bend it straight up and put more beads. From here we can do our loop, bring it around, bring it to the back, loop it around, and then we want to secure this, so we're just going to bring this back down at the back and then just twist it around the stem. Give it a clip, and there you have your Y. For the Z, we'll start again with our little loop to hold the beads, and we'll put a few beads across the bottom. So now we're going to hold these taut, bend it up at an angle, and put our beads across there. So now I'm going to hold these and then push that straight across, and you can see it's forming the Z. So what I'll do now is I'm going to put a couple of beads, and then I'm just going to do my loop around here. It'll be more or less centered. Bring that straight across, and then put a couple more beads. 2 will be enough because there'll be a little space there. Cut that to 1/4 inch and just bring in the loop to hold the beads. The other way to finish the Z that might be a little more solid is put your 5 beads and then bend the wire to the back, keeping it quite taut, and then you're going to hold this in place. Then you'll just hold the wire in place, wind it around so it catches in between a couple of the beads, and then you can trim it to 3/8 to 1/2 inch and make your loop. In this one, the construction is more solid and you have your full 5 beads on the top. So thanks so much for watching the video. Give it a big thumbs up if you liked it. Be sure to subscribe to my channel for lots more wire art and jewelry making videos. Hit the notification bell to be notified when I go live and when I post new videos. And if you'd like to share photos of your wire art and jewelry, be sure to join the Wire Makers Club on Facebook. And if you'd like to check out our work on Etsy, my husband and I specialize in custom wedding cake toppers and funky jewelry. I also have a mailing list, so if you'd like to submit your email, I will send you my free Wire Art Essentials ebook. So thanks again for watching, and we'll see you the next time.